Red-eyed tree frogs only stay in their eggs 6 to 7 days, but even while in their eggs, they can sense predator attacks before they even hatch. Let's talk about that and more fun red-eyed tree frog facts while I sketch this little hopper. So let's turn the page and get started. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 5:30 in the morning on a, goodness, is it Thursday morning? That means we're going to stream again tonight. Thursday mornings, I like to do a little thing where I pull a random object from the Random Object Randomizer and we draw it and we talk about it. And today's random object from the Random Object Randomizer is a red-eyed tree frog. And it's one of my favorite frogs, and I love to draw frogs. And this is one of my favorite frogs, and they're all over the internet. This is the go-to frog. This is they're green and red and blue and orange, and with a bright yellow stripe down the side. You can't go wrong with that kind of coloration. That's all kinds of bright colors to play with, to try to hide from a predator. They have all the bright, pretty colors to make them interesting to draw, to give them a good shape. They're sleek. They have fat toes. Everything you want in a frog. Everything you want in a frog. Excuse me. I started off with they gestate for, I'm not sure, do you call it gestation when they're in an egg? They gestate for about 6 to 7 days, but while they're in their eggs, they can sense when a snake or something has come up to eat the eggs. And they will hatch themselves early so they can slip out into the water. And as far as I know, they're the only ones that do it, right? That's crazy. As far as I know it, they're the only ones that do it. Good morning, Rick. Good morning, Mom, Dad. Glad to see you guys this morning. Rick is in the chat. My mom is the angelic voice you hear overhead on my phone. She runs the chat to let me know if there's anything going on that I need to pay attention to, because I cannot read the chat and draw and talk at the same time. I have a hard enough time drawing and talking at the same time. But she lets me know if there's anything going on in the chat that I need to be aware of. Is Pamela around today, or? Sleep in. Rick and Pamela are good friends of the show and good friends in general. Excuse me. I've met Pamela a few times in person. Good people. But this frog, it's only about 2 to 3 inches. The females are a little bigger than the males. That seems to be true with most amphibians. The females are just a little bigger than the males. I guess that's so they can carry the eggs around, but most of the time the males end up taking care of the eggs once they're laid. Two to 3 inches. That's about a third the size of a hedgehog, for reference.
Yeah. Sugar syrup.
Hey, Sugar. Good morning. welcome to the live stream. Glad to have you. Give us a shout out. Tell us where you're from. What part of the world has you up at 5:30 in the morning? Rick says she's among us. Pamela is among us this morning. That's good.
She says sleeping in was very tempting this morning, but she wanted to paint with us, so here she is.
I tell you what, sleeping in becomes very, very tempting almost every morning. I wake up every morning at 5:30. I'm sorry, 4:30. I wake up every morning at 4:30. And every morning the first thought goes to my head is, what if I went back to sleep? I don't have anywhere to be. What if I went back to sleep? But then I remember I'm going to art with my besties. And I don't have any way to tell you that I'm not coming. And so it holds me accountable. It forces me out of bed, which is pretty much how this started. It forces me out of bed because I can't tell you guys that I won't be here, and it wouldn't be fair to you guys to have you guys wake up and be here without me. So that in my head says I got to get up, I got to go downstairs. My besties are waiting on me, and so I literally run down the stairs every morning, excited, knowing that my besties are down here waiting on me. There's a lot of pencil work going on here that makes me nervous. It's easy to get confused with this much pencil. Almost done. I just have a few more toes to draw in, and then we can move the ink. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. What light are we talking about?
Oh, one over there where the ink is.
Oh. where the subtle hint is?
Yep, it's really bright. It shines on your journal.
It's changed. Nothing has changed from today and yesterday. Nothing has changed. Let's get a little bit of placement for his detail work there. All right. I think that's a frog. I think I'm gonna call that a frog. Let's move to pen. Pamela! You know, Pamela, my mom just read that to me. Pamela says, "Good morning, Artie. Sleeping in was tempting." My mom just read that to me. And I thought Rick typed it and was explaining to us why you weren't talking. Good morning. Paper towel moved over here on the table, and I thought something was attacking me. I jumped out of my chair. These things have to be in about 80% humidity, so they're always down by the water, but they're actually better climbers than they are swimmers. These guys have mucus-covered toes that allow them to stick to anything, and that makes them much better climbers than swimmers. They actually use their time in the branches to communicate with each other. When it's mating season, for instance, when it's mating season, or when they want to mark their territory, they'll shake the tree branches. Bigger ones, they shake the tree branches, and the bigger ones shake the tree branches harder, and it lets the other frogs know that I'm an aggressive frog. I'm live. I'm aggressive, and I'm healthy. And the zoologists have been able to put a mechanical limb shaker into an artificial environment, and get the response. They'll shake the limb of a tree with a little mechanical thing, and the other frogs will respond by shaking their limbs back. I'm not afraid of you. You shake your limb at me, young man. I've been shaking limbs since before you were a tadpole.
My goodness, nature is funny. It's so amazing.
Well, the thinking is that, especially because of how bright and colorful they are, they have to be able to hide, and making noise or anything else is not a very good thing about hiding. You look at these things and you think, man, that's a brightly lit frog. How is he hiding from anything? Brightly colored, not brightly lit. But truthfully, he's about the same color as the leaves and flowers around him. And they'll curl up, and they'll tuck their little orange toes up underneath their body, and they'll suck their eyes down into their head. And then if a predator shows up, the first thing they'll do is they'll pop those eyes up and puff up big, so all the bright colors are exposed. And it buys them a second or two while it confuses the predators.
Wants to know if you have garage monsters in reference to your paper towel movie.
I have June bugs.
Oh, Lord. No, I don't do June bugs.
I have June bugs, and they're harmless, but they just pop up out of nowhere, land on you, and they hit hard when they land on you.
With no warning.
Right? You're sitting there minding your own business, and all of a sudden here comes this thing, and they've got prickly little feet that catch on to things.
You cannot get them all.
For those of you not in the United States, especially not in the southern United States, a June bug is a scarab. And it's a member of the scarab family, and they come out in search of things around the porch light. And they're the big dark brown bugs. Right, that's enough. I think I have enough, all the details I need to move the paint. So every now and then I'll get a June bug or two in the studio here, because I'm in a garage. I'll get a June bug or two. Or better yet, if we get enough rain, I live in one of those fantastic places in the world where we have tree roaches that are like this big. Excuse me. And occasionally one of those will pop up on the desk and go running across when we get enough rain. I can deal with it on the floor.
Yeah, well, it was 3:30 in the morning and I was perfect.
I won't coexist with it.
It was no.
Sorry, buddy.
We need,
Sorry, buddy. Cannot coexist. Cannot have you laying eggs in my house. No. Cannot coexist. There are things I can coexist with, and that is not one of them.
no.
All right.
I remember when I worked with the naval commandant in Virginia. In the mornings we would walk in and have to walk across a big warrior, and there were hundreds of those stupid things in there. We got there before the cleaning crew had documented. It was horrible.
You know, the other thing that's bad around here is crickets.
Yes.
If you're not careful, you'll get overrun by crickets. June bugs, June bugs, tree roaches, crickets.
But one good thing is we don't seem to have ticks.
We don't seem to have ticks. This is my favorite part of the process. I probably never told you guys this. How much this part of the process is just.
I just think this guy'd be great on the canvas.
Probably. I just love this part so much, because this is the part that makes it turns it from a bunch of lines on the page to a dimensional object.
It says she hates the way a June bug feels. Yep.
Yeah.
Claudia says yes, I'm done.
Good morning, Claudia. Claudia snuck in. Push Claudia's buttons. Yeah, I probably never told you guys. How much I enjoyed this part of the process.
This is a huge water bug and roly-poly. That's the roly-poly.
Isopods. Love me some isopods. Those things don't bother me so much.
You scoop roly-polies over. Really good memories. The little guy at roly-polies.
I have really good memories of the little guy with roly polies. All my kids have fun playing with roly polies. I like when they sit there and the kids just sit there and stare at them, and they squeal with glee when the thing opens up and starts crawling off, and then they poke it with a stick and watch it ball up. I think that's fun to watch the kids interact with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would go out under the staircase in the building next door. He stayed with me, and he'd be out there for an hour.
Right. The shadow, the shadow on this is just almost as much fun as the shadow on that scorpion the other day, because of how bold it is.
With the long back legs.
Yeah, he's stretched out. I tried to take a little extra time today on the composition to make sure he fit on the page like he's supposed to.
Quilts I have in progress is
Yeah? I did one of these and put it on a t-shirt for girl 2 for her birthday one year. All right. That took a while. How are we doing on time? Oh, it's time to go. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining. Let me dry this real quick, and then we'll move into some color.
Yeah.
Pamela, I thought tonight, we've been doing the evening show for 6 months now. Pretty steady. I thought we'd stop and do a quick flip through and review and critique. I thought that I might spend some time doing a little critique of my own work, and then if anybody wanted to critique of their work, we can do that too. We can crowd critique it. Pamela's in the chat asking what I planned on doing for tonight's show. On Thursday nights, I do a show where I basically just paint and talk to my besties. On the morning show, we try to talk about the frog. I haven't said much about the frog. Like, I haven't said anything about his name, Agalichnus calidrius, which means beautiful wood nymph. They named it beautiful wood nymph. I haven't talked about where it's from: Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia. Has a wide range. It has a great adaptability because they're climbers. They don't need to be in the water. They just need high humidity. The quality of the water is important, but not paramount. So they can handle a little urban sprawl.
Yes, Vermilion.
Vermilion. I'm gonna go through lots of colors. We've already put down some yellow ochre. I put down some vermilion. Now I'm putting down some cobalt blue. They don't have eyelids. They have nictitating membranes. Now, that's kind of a I don't really like the way they phrase that, because a nictitating membrane is an eyelid. It's a clear. It's an eyelid, but it's clear. It goes over the eyes and it prevents water and debris from getting in their eyes, especially when they're swimming. But it's that clear eyelid. But a lot of animals that have nictitating membranes also have an eyelid. These guys do not have both. They only have the nictitating membrane, and instead of an eyelid, they will just tuck their eyes down into their head.
Says she believes that's ultramarine, sir.
What, this green?
I don't know the colors.
Red, yellow, green, red, blue, 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 red, purple, yellow, orange. My mother gets that song stuck in her head.
Real easy, I don't know why.
Oh, I thought it was cobalt blue. I've been calling it cobalt blue. It says cobalt blue on the packaging. Anything to compare it with, so. All right. Let me dry that real quick, and then we'll have some ink. Cement on the frog, ultramarine on the frog. These guys are not endangered because of how well they adapt to the changes in their environment, but their habitat is under abuse. Due to the logging industry. Their biggest threat is the pet industry, but they breed pretty well in captivity, so they don't have to be. They're not as likely to be captured live, but they're pretty, so people capture them. And the pet industry still goes out, catches wild ones. So that's their biggest threats. That and that what's that fungus? The chytrid fungus. They brought the medical doctors brought in a bunch of frogs. What was it? I think it was for pregnancy tests. I don't remember. But the frogs they brought in were from Africa, and they started spreading a fungus that has been killing off amphibians all around the world. It's a toe. But they've been killing the amphibians all around the world. And this frog is no exception.
Lily says she thinks the ivy's the teacher.
I do need to dry that, I think, before I can do this part. Let's see what happens. You
have a bird in your house?
Why are you here singing?
No.
Why do you think I might have a bird in my house?
They go to the pet store.
I hope there's no bird in my house, because he's gonna leave me. He's gonna go to the Marines and leave me with that bird. He's been talking about getting a bird for a while. We'll talk about that tonight. What is today? Today's the 9th. That eye needs a highlight. I'm not sure. Let's see if I can give it a highlight here. Actually, you know what? Let's cheat. Let's cheat because of the nature of that highlight. I'm going to switch to, I could use gouache, but I don't have gouache within reach. So I'm going to switch to acrylic. Yeah, I just don't have any gouache within reach. Really cheating? I don't know if you can really call this cheating or not. How dare, my whole childhood. All right. I'm going to call that done. Except I didn't get this part in here. Maybe I shouldn't get this part in here. I like it better like that. Okay, now I'm calling it done. So there it is, based on the photograph. Subtle hint. There it is based on the photograph. Let's see what it looks like from my perspective. Well, I almost hung up on my mom. Let's see it from my perspective. There it is from my perspective. Well, let's see if we can get it to focus. There we go. I love drawing frogs. So that's what I did today. Tomorrow, what do we have tomorrow? Oh, the suspense. The suspense. What could it be? What could it be? What could it be? Ooh. We have a statuette of the Egyptian Isis. There we go, on camera. We have a statuette of the Egyptian Isis. We can talk about tomorrow, we can talk about how Isis was worshipped almost all the way into the modern era, almost into the AD years, because they just loved her so much. And we can talk about how the various statues around the world, around the world, I mean, they're mostly all in the Mediterranean and Egypt and around in there. But anyway, there are various forms of Isis all around out there. And we can talk about all of that tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. Texas time. So you're going to want to set your notification bell so you don't miss that. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. Claudia, tell me, I can't stand the suspense. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I do look forward to arting with my besties every day. And then we dance. We dance until somebody says they see me dancing. I do look forward to this every day because I run down the stairs to be with you guys. And it holds me accountable to my art practice and is often the only art I get to do in a day. Be sure and tune in tomorrow. Same Artistic Biker time, same Artistic Biker channel. We dance until somebody says they see me dancing, because that is how we know that the lag has caught up to the stream and I won't be cut off mid-sentence. Gives you a chance to click the clicky thingies this way if you're on the horizontal, or this way if you're on the vertical. It gives everybody a chance to say hello and goodbye to each other and ask questions if they have any questions to ask. But the most important thing, and tonight, be sure and tune in tonight at 7 o'clock tonight. We're going to do a little review, a little critique. And if you have anything you would like to be critiqued upon, send it in with the word critique in the subject line to blade@artisticbiker.com, and we'll all gather around and critique it. We only talk about constructive criticism. No, I don't like your subject. Don't care about what your subject is. We're talking about techniques. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. The most important thing about this dance, though, is that I don't get cut off mid-sentence, because being